So we've read a really good story called Curious George at School. It's a fantasy, and the author chose some words that really made this an interesting story to read. Writers choose the words they use carefully. Some words help readers picture the events. Some words tell more about a character. The story says that George is funny. What other words does the author use to describe George and the mess he makes? Could use happy. What other words? So go back in the story and look for words that might describe George. Isaiah, do you see one? George is what? Sad. George is sad. What other words that describe George? Carly?
Singing.
No, singing doesn't describe him. It tells me something he does. Words that describe, you can say George is. And how is he? Yes.
He's fun. He's having fun.
Show me the words in the story that describe George. You're going to point to a word in the story. Yes.
George is friendly.
Is what?
Friendly.
Friendly, so you can see that he's friendly either in the picture or the words. If you can see. Okay, what else? Brandon, what describes George? Funny. What else? Abby? You know, we're looking in the story. Look in the story. What did you see? So he is what? George is what? Can't hear you. Playful? Okay, he's playful. What else is George? Helpful. So he helps a lot, so he is helpful. What else can we say about George? Yes. He is happy at the end. He isn't sad anymore, he's happy. What else could we say about George?
He's curious.
Curious. Perfect answer. Thank you. Curious. Now we're going to turn. Where is George in this story? Where did George go? Luke? To school. Does George's school, it's a fantasy, but does George's school look anything like our school? Maybe your preschool or your kindergarten? Now we're going to look at a school from long ago. So on page 86. 86. On page 86 is informational text. And it is hard for me to talk any louder. So please get really quiet. I have the air on so that you can be cool. But I can't talk very loud for much longer. Keep turning the pages until you see page 86. Turn them one at a time and you'll see page 86. You'll look at the bottom. School long ago. This is informational text. Unless it's an emergency, we're not going to interrupt. Informational text gives facts about a topic. This is a social studies article. We don't need our spiral notebook yet. We'll need it in a minute. We don't need our spiral notebook yet. You're going to read to find out what the topic is. We're going to find out what the topic of this article is. In this informational text, you'll see real photographs. You'll also see a chart that lists information in a clear way. And we'll find out what we can learn from a chart in this story. School long ago. How did children get to school? We're on page 86. The red words say, how did children get to school? Was going to school long ago what do you need, Silas? Is it an emergency? Are you sure you're okay? Okay. Was going to school long ago different from going to school today? Let's find out. There were no school buses long ago. Some children had to walk to get to school. So some of you still walk to get to school. What did children bring to school? Long ago, children did not have backpacks. They carried their things for school in their arms. Children did not have a lot of paper long ago. They used chalk to write on small boards called slates. What did children learn? Long ago, children learned reading, writing, and math. Some teachers taught children funny songs to sing. What do children learn in school today? So let's look at the chart on page 88. What did they use then? Then, let's look at the first picture in the first column on the chart. What did they use? What is that called, Joe?
Chalk and chalkboard.
A chalk and a chalkboard. What do we use now? Look at the picture, that's something we use now. Brody?
Paper.
Yes, that composition book looks just like the one you have in your desk. Instead of chalk and chalkboard, though, what do you have in your chair pocket that you use now? Don't get it out, just tell me what you have in your chair pocket. But I'm calling on someone who raised their hand. Isaiah?
Notebook.
No, we already did that. Now I'm asking you to think about your chair pocket. What is in your chair pocket that you use now that's similar to a chalkboard? Elizabeth?
Whiteboard.
The whiteboards. Look at the next picture. How are the children getting to school long ago? Walking. How do some children get to school today? Brendan? Riding a school bus. Most of you come in cars, though. A few of you walk, though. How do children bring their books long ago? How do they have their books? Raise your hand. Can you tell me, Sutton? You have your hand raised. How did children bring their books to school long ago? You'll have to look on the picture. If you don't have your book open, you won't see the picture. Grace? They carried them. Look at that. They just put a strap around it like a belt. How do we do it today? A backpack. Everyone can say backpack. Well, you are in your spiral notebook now. Don't open it yet because you don't know what to do. You're going to decide. You can decide. Do you want to compare two texts? Do you want to tell how you know that Curious George is a real or make-believe story? And how do you know that School Long Ago is real? You can do that one. Or you can think of something Curious George did that you have also done and write about it. You can do either of those. You can either tell me in your spiral notebook why the Curious George story is pretend and why this one is real, or you can write how you did something like Curious George did.